So I finally got deep enough into these consultations or multiple group of my personalities communicating that, and you get worried about it. Look, I'm talking to myself. I'm going to have to be hospitalized. You know, these kinds of things run through. Well, this is crazy. People talk to themselves, and I'm wrong. Anyway, what I began to discover is, and began to get suspicious, because this seemed to be the thing that the inspect was talking about, that I needed a basic, to know a basic, and this was a basic. And so, and I'm working on this all symbolically because it's the only way it can be done. So I brought this up to Willie and a couple of my other life personalities. I said, you know, I wonder what about this inspect and this sort of a doody-doo-doo-doo, you know. I said, what's the matter here? And Willie says, come on, Robert, I want to show you something. So we turn a little bit out of phase. He says, step. And I stepped. Wham! I'm into this flow that I thought was going to inspect land, and all the beautiful love and warmth and everything else, and all the various personalities that it was and so on. And you know where it was going? Into my it. And I thought, come on. Oh. Seems that my it is continuously busy, as all other its are, is retrieving parts of life personalities that have been lost or one reason or another. So you see, that was the design. They got lost. They're lost in the BS territories, and they're supposed to come back to the it. You see that? To your it. Nobody else's but yours. The I there of you. And what happens is that your it and my it, everyone's, are constantly cruising these BS territories to retrieve life personalities of each of us that has gotten lost or locked into one of these territories, and they're retrieving them and bringing them back to the it. You know why? That's what they're all doing, and this is what you're doing. And you find out again. I'm being so dogmatic, go find out. And what it is, your it is doing is collecting all of these so that you in turn can take off and wink out. And that's how I found out about that, because I began to discover, and you'll discover it, that your it has adjoining its all bonded to it. You are a part of a bonding system that I'm 86% sure that you all are within this bonded cluster of its, of which I am a part. And what we're doing is that we are gathering all of the parts of us together, each individual. Like you got some that are lost in various belief systems, and there's a constant flow of retrieving those and getting them stuck back in. They're parts of you. That, I can give you a classic one that you know about already, having gone this far in Gateway, is that Miranon is attempting to retrieve Shay, who is here. And that's his connection, is he's a retriever trying to pull Shay back into their it cluster so that they can move on and wink out and go in another direction. And we'll get to that tomorrow night. So have a good time in 21. You can be your own ghost now, don't you see? And you'll know your own ghosts, which is another part of it. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah?
Where and what, who is BB now today?
Where, who is BB is already, BB, as you know, attempted to rescue me.
Right.
And he's come and gone in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for you?
Hmm?
He didn't wait for you?
He couldn't. he cried. He died in an airplane accident. That was quite a thing, and I didn't even know about it at the time. But BB was a friend of mine named Bonson, and he flew a twin Beech, if you know, and he was used to long fields instead of grass fields, and he came into, I learned this when we were flying together out of a small place in North Carolina. He went up to Ohio, Worcester, Ohio, and went into the Worcester, Ohio airport, and the lesson he'd learned in that grass field, having been on hard runway all the time, he over-applied at the Worcester airport and hit power lines on the way in and crashed right in the middle of the field and burned and died. Well, and that's one of the people that I saw, speaking of validation and so on. And I later on got to Agnew and found it because he was involved in the 60s with me, if you think how time flies. And so we were much together in this. But let me tell you the greatest mystery in Agnew's passing. When I attended his funeral in Winston-Salem. And here, as he was being, his casket, and nobody saw the remains because they were too burnt up, as it was being lowered into the grave, a twin Beech made a power pass at about 150 feet over that grave. His wife, she just broke down. We could not find the source of that twin Beech. In other words, we checked all the airports for 150 miles around Winston-Salem, and that twin Beech did not emerge from any of them, and there was no flight plans filed for any twin Beech for that day. One of the greatest and most interesting mysteries is where it came from. Somebody's it was doing something. And that's the other thing that you will find, that the more that you get to know your it, you'll become astounded at the capabilities that you have that you never knew you had, but you did 20,000 years ago, so why not now? Right? That's the thing. So I can't say much more about your going and having fun in 21 except have fun.
Does the it have more than one of these sojourners in one time space?
In one lifetime?
Yeah.
Does your it have mine? You mean more than one physical existence? In other words, is there another
Your
part?
It has Bob and Sam
all in the same
somewhere else.
Are you going to make me have to tell that story? Huh.
No.
No. I was just, that came up through for another reason, and I was astounded to discover that my it indeed has another person living concurrently in this era. I was astounded to discover. I should have known better. And when I asked Treo about why this, he says, well, that's just a backup in case you don't do what you're supposed to. Oh, anyway.